Hello people, so I wanted to make this video talking about who you guys think will be the final top fighters left standing in the tournament of power. Now before I go any further, I think it's important to acknowledge that there is a difference between the characters that you would want to be left standing versus the characters that are more likely to be left standing by the end of the tourney. For example, right, I have a theory, a Gohan theory about him awakening his new form, and the theory doesn't really work unless he's one of the final guys in the tourney. So I want Gohan to be one of the final guys standing. Then again, Gohan's odds of being one of the final fighters are actually pretty good because he's been built up, you know, throughout the recruitment arc, and also he's Gohan. He's one of the main characters of the show, so maybe that wasn't the best example. Okay, so Piccolo, right? Piccolo is one of my favorite characters. You know, I would want him to be in the finale of the tournament, but given his track record, is it likely that he will be one of the top fighters left? Probably not. I'm only mentioning this because one of the rules of the tournament we know is that once the time runs out, the universe that has the most guys still standing wins the tournament. Now, if you have, the more guys you have left standing by the end, once that timer reaches 0, the less tension there is in the actual fights because the stakes aren't that high. But then again, thanks to that rule and also thanks to the fact that there is a time limit, that scenario actually creates these circumstances where in which weaker characters can actually have an advantage. Let me explain what I mean by that.
So if you've played Smash on the Nintendo, you've probably had this situation happen to you where in which there's 3 guys left, you're 1v1ing a guy, you're tiring each other out, and then maybe you either knock each other off, you step on a bomb, both of you get disqualified, both of you leave the platform at the same time, and then the other third and final player that was off dicking around someplace else gets the win. Or because you've been too busy with the 1v1, the other character comes in with some type of item, some type of a combo, maybe even a smash or something, and actually takes the win that way. Or, you know, because the third and final character has died less times than you and has less damage, they actually end up surviving till the end and they get the automatic win. So that's pretty much what I meant in regards to some of the tournament rules, creating these very unique scenarios that actually end up helping some of the weaker characters get to the end. And we were actually reminded of this in the last episode when Goku was pleading with Krillin because he tells Krillin, we can't win this tournament based off of power alone. We have to use our thinking skills for this. However, I will say that I think the opposite is also true. You can't win the tournament just based off of smarts, especially because of the top tiers involved, and the power gap between the low tiers and the top tiers is insane. Like, it's such a gargantuan power gap, like to the point where it would actually just take one shot, maybe not even like one direct hit from a top tier to a lower tier to get them to step out of bounds or just, you know, fly away from the platform. It's insane. So the characters that have a higher chance of being left standing by the end are those that actually have a nice balance between their smarts and their power.
So a lot of stuff can happen, but based on that premise alone and based on the fact that this is a story and it does have main characters, protagonists, and those are the characters that we usually follow through till the end of each arc, we can kind of already begin to draw our own conclusions and infer stuff based on the information that we already have. For example, Frieza's voice actor recently revealed that he had just finished recording a session, like a voice acting session with himself, having a conversation with himself, which obviously means that him, Frieza, and Frost are going to have some type of interaction in the tournament. Not only that, but it was also revealed that Frieza and Frost will be scheming something together within the tournament itself. Plus, it was also stated to expect unlikely alliances to occur.
So I'm really glad that that was confirmed because that's something that I had been pushing for ever since pretty much the tournament had been announced, but especially after the rankings got revealed for the universes, it would just, to me, it just made perfect sense for it was kind of like the weaker verses to kind of like come together against the most powerful ones. And to me, the most obvious alliance that can occur is between Universe 6 and 7 because we've actually gotten to know Universe 6 better than all of the other universes. Plus, we know Vegeta has this thing for Kaba, where in which he sees potential in him, and Kaba actually admires Vegeta. Also, Goku and Hit have this shared mutual sense of respect for each other as fighters, in addition to the sibling rivalry between Champa and Beerus that we kind of know is actually masking some type of brotherly affection between the two. This may be obvious to most of you, but I actually find it very interesting that each of those universes is participating with 3 Saiyans each. That actually goes back to something that the Daishinkan stated to Zeno, where in which he said that because the universes are pairs, remember, If the numbers of the universes add up to 13, they're pairs. So 6 plus 7 is 13, and therefore the Daishinkan also says that because they're pairs, their power rivals each other. And this is something that I have to mention, especially because of the last episode that we got. A lot of people are saying that now it's like super easy for people to awaken Super Saiyan. Like just, oh wow, you just got Super Saiyan like automatically. Just because of how easy it was for Kali to awaken Super Saiyan. But I really don't think that's the case. I think what happens here is that basically the Saiyans from Universe 6 are already at Super Saiyan level. They just didn't know that they can go Super Saiyan. It's kind of like saying like, well, I do cardio every day, but I never participated in a race because I didn't know that I could participate. But when I do participate, wow, I actually did pretty good in the race because I do cardio every day. So based off of the Daishinkan's comment that universes that are twins tend to rival each other in power, we can begin to group them together to find the opposites and kind of match them up. So Universe 9 would rival Universe 4, Universe 10 would rival Universe 3, and Universe 11 would rival Universe 2. And by the way, I think this is something different than the Xeno rankings for the universes, because I'm pretty sure those rankings involve averages that include other factors aside from just power. And these groupings actually make a lot of sense, especially when you consider that Universe 11 and Universe 2 are a pair. Because think about it, who do we see in the opening? We see Jiren and Goku going toe-to-toe. I mean, they're pretty much exchanging blows throughout the entire thing. Goku even goes blue at one point. And yes, I know the opening can be misleading, especially because of the situation that happened with Frieza and Buu. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is we're going to have a new opening, maybe not a new song, but they're going to actually replace some of those parts with Buu and just put Photoshop Frieza right in there so that it actually makes sense. And I also think they're going to shade in the characters' faces in these panels where we see them in the dark, just because we probably have already been introduced to most of them anyway. So once everybody gets introduced, they're probably going to show all of the characters there as well. Now in the opening, we also see Ribrianne going toe-to-toe with Super Saiyan Vegeta. Now granted, it is Super Saiyan Vegeta, not Super Saiyan Blue, so you know, we can still speculate about her power scaling or her power level, but at the same time, like I said, it makes sense. Why? Because Ribrianne is from Universe 2. Universe 2 makes a pair with Universe 11. Jiren from Universe 11 is going toe-to-toe with Goku, and Ribrianne from Universe 2 is going toe-to-toe with Vegeta.
So her and Jiren would be my first two picks in regards to characters that I would definitely expect to see within those final moments of the tournament, or you know, with the time running out. I definitely expect to see those two characters. Jiren is obvious because you would have to be an absolute troll to show him that much time in the opening and then have him get disqualified beforehand. And if you have Jiren there, you also have to have Goku there to a certain extent. Also, because of the amount of build-up and character moments that we've gotten out of Gohan throughout this recruitment process, I kind of get the feeling that Gohan is actually going to outlast Vegeta within the tournament itself, just based off of the build-up, the enormous amount of build-up that we've gotten throughout this recruitment process for him. I mean, compare the amount of build-up that we've gotten for Gohan in this arc and the amount of build-up that we've gotten for Vegeta, okay? I mean, for me, if you eliminate Gohan too soon, then there's absolutely no payoff for the moments that we've had. Also, I definitely see Frieza pairing up with Frost during the initial stages of the tournament, but once we near those final moments, I definitely see him pulling a fast one on him, betraying him, just using him or maybe stabbing him in the back so that he can sneak into those final moments of the tournament as well. Also, somebody from Universe 6 definitely has to make it to that final phase as well. If I had to go with my gut feeling, my gut instinct, my money's on Kale, even though I like Khalifa more. Also, maybe that robot that we got to see from Universe 3 last time manages to attach himself to the platform and just troll everybody by the end. Finally, I'm just gonna flip the question and ask you guys, who do you think will be the first fighter to be disqualified? Who do you think will be the first out of bounds, the first fighter that just gets completely knocked out? The first one to take the L, who do you think it is? Will it be Ten Han? Will it be Roshi? Maybe some of the fodder from the other universes. Like maybe the guys from Universe 10 that are obsessed with GodTube and protein shakes. Or maybe they do pull a plot twist in this and it turns out that one of the first characters to be eliminated is one of the strongest ones because maybe they got, you know, distracted or they weren't paying attention or something. Also, just from a storytelling perspective, I actually think that the closer the match is to being over, the higher the probability that the Daishinkan or Xeno introduces some type of a new rule for the tournament participants. It's a very common tool used in writing, especially when there's a competition, because it helps you raise the tension. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Please let me know in the comments section who your top picks are, all right, for the fighters that are more likely to be left standing at the end of the tournament of power. Those final moments, those final seconds. Who do you want it to be? Do you want it to be a 1v1? Do you want it to be a 2v1, a 2-on-2, maybe even a 3-on-1? How do you envision this final matchup coming to a close? Could it be that the finale has already been spoiled to a certain extent by the opening, and therefore we're getting the standard Goku versus Jiren final fight? Or are we expecting to get, should we expect to get something a little bit more creative and surprising by the end? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. I really appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Dragon Ball related stuff. Catch you guys later. Bye.